It's time to tackle that question that players have been asking. Is old sealed product now going to start going up in price because of the new pricing brought around by play boosters? New products like play boosters, with a new pricing structure working its way through the psyche of Magic the Gathering players everywhere, also has a lot of players wondering if now is the time to start buying set and draft boxes of currently available stock at relatively low prices. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today, and a reminder that if you're new to the channel and you enjoy today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Guys, every new subscriber is helping us get closer to the goal of 20,000 subscribers. We're only 580 subs away from reaching that goal. Thanks again to everyone who's helping me get there. It's amazing. Now, when the question came about, and I got over a dozen emails about this in the last 24 hours, saying now that play boosters are a thing, and we know they're coming out, and we know the price that they're going to charge at the set booster box price, but they've added 6 more boosters, so overall it's even a little bit higher than that. Is this the time that we should be looking at all the existing draft boxes available on the market and picking some of these boxes up? Is there a potential upside to these boxes in the long run, the financial MTG side of things, saying if I buy a box at, say, $110 US, and it's a slightly older box, can I double my money in a few years? Or if you buy a brand new, a newer box like March the Machines or Dominaria United, and you're getting it for 85 to 93 US, is this my chance to make a lot of money, Moxman? It's a good question. There's a lot going on there, and a lot more to just answering a simple question saying, oh yeah, you can make some money. Because when you're looking at the new product, there's no history there. We don't know how it's going to sell. We don't know what they're going to do yet. We don't know the layout. But looking at the history of old boxes, we have over 30 years of data now that can tell us what's going on. And these markets going up and down, overprinting, underprinting. When you're looking at a product line back in the day, when they overprinted something like Fallen Empires, okay, 240 million cards made. That was massive compared to everything they had done back in the day. It's considered a drop in the bucket by today's standards, but back then, that was considered massive overprinting. Those boxes took 20 plus years to finally regain some kind of equity and value. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes, even for products like that. There's reserve list cards on the list. The fact it's slowly becoming actually scarce to get sealed boxes. And even then, you can still get them now with the market downturn for $500 US. Okay. When you look at newer products, Dominaria United, you look at March the Machines, Epilogue Boosters, take your pick, New Capenna. We know these have been massively overprinted. They're based on the numbers they used to give us during the COVID era, where we had all kinds of people at home, and they were producing as much as they possibly could to meet the demand, but that also left a lot of products sitting at the warehouse level, distribution level, and it ended up on Amazon. So now you have hordes of cards that didn't get used up. Sealed boxes that end up in people's closets because they bought it cheap on Amazon and they're sitting on it. So how many products like that do you think are sitting around all across the world right now? Based on all the Amazon dumps, all the stuff, you'd be surprised how much is probably sitting in a closet, sitting somewhere with somebody thinking the same thing you are. I'm going to get rich off this. I'm going to make hundreds of dollars sooner or later. How many people could possibly be doing what I'm doing? It's more than you think, but less than it probably is. Now, when I mean that, what I mean by that is there are people who are collectors, investors. Most of those people got chased out of the market, but they didn't sell their products. They dumped off single cards, but sealed stuff, you can just let it sit in a closet, sit in the thing, and just hope it gets better eventually, especially if you got a discount and a good deal. When you look at these boxes long term, when you look at a box that has good products, good cards, like Children of the Apocalypse is inside Dominaria United. And we know there's a shortage of Childrens out there because a lot of people have it on their wish list, but you don't see a lot of people taking the chance of cracking a box of Dominaria United hoping to get a Children of the Apocalypse, do we? No. They're not taking the chance, they're just buying the single card. You even see Jumpstart Dominaria United booster boxes. Those are $75. I think 1 in 4 actually has a chance to get a Children in those boxes. Those still aren't being sold a lot. But there is an uptick in sales. Okay? I put a couple of feelers out after I saw the Alpha Investments video. And I asked a simple question: in the last 24 hours, have you sold more booster boxes, draft and set, than you have previously? Out of the 9 stores that answered me, we are 9 for 9 that yes, a couple people came in and bought some sealed product. It was usually stuff they had on sale or discounted, but they did buy it, which just lends credence to the idea that people are thinking that they can possibly get rich on this. But there's a reason why you can, and there's a reason why you can't. There's 2 sides to this. The reason we're not going to see major market movement is the world's still not a better place. The world right now is still in a whole bunch of crazy turmoil, and there's a lot of stuff going on that has to calm down. Inflation is just rampant right now. That doesn't lend to a lot of disposable income for people to even take the chance in investing in these types of products. And also, they've been burned. We've been burned badly, which means those few people buying them have nobody to sell them to. So those 2 factors alone means chances are they may go up over the long term, 20 years, but it's not going to be this instant wealth generation you thought you saw in 2020, that blip on the map. That stuff's going to go away. But the longer you hold your product, let other people thin it out, yes, there is a chance to make some decent money in the long term. And by long term, we are not talking 4 or 5 years. We are literally talking 15 to 20 years from now. I'm looking long term. My sheets used to go out about 9 years. I don't see it happening right now with the glut that's on the market, and is probably still on the market, just hidden in some warehouse locations. But we are seeing an uptick in sales, which means people are getting around to that idea. Now, I don't know if tomorrow we find out that the new play boosters are going to be underprinted. Right? Wizards is going to try to make sure things work out a certain way. I don't think in the first run that they're going to overprint. I think they'll keep allocation tight and keep the demand tight on this product. They will nurture it. They'll grow it like a flower. They know it costs more. They're going to put a nice little bit of sugar icing in there to make you happy, make you get all jolly and super hyper. And then they'll thin out the recipe later on. But for that first little while, it'll be tight, it'll look good, and you'll probably have a few people wondering if they should be buying boxes of that. Again, I would say for this market environment we're in, you steer clear of sealed product. It's not because I don't like it. Love the stuff. But based on what we've seen, all the product that's already out there is still out there. This stuff wasn't opened magically. It wasn't all of a sudden added to the cards being converted to cash. Like Rosewater said, oh, you sell a box, they open the box, and then the cards get sold for cash and it gets refunneled into the market. It's kind of funny, right? It's kind of like a dwindling return. You open a box for $60 Canadian. You get $80 in cards. You trade $80 in cards for $40 in cash. And then you go buy another box next set and do it all again. It's like you're losing money every time and it goes negative eventually. It's horrible. Horrible. But it's how the game is designed right now. You can get lucky the odd time, but nowadays you can't even break even. So when you look at all those things, and you look at some of these sets that have great cards inside them, there will be a lure for players thinking they can generate a lot of money off these. There'll be an idea from those players saying, I can do this. I can do what no one else is doing. No, you can't. Not right now. Not right now, because if you think you're the only person buying from Alpha Investments right now, you think the only person hitting up the local shops and getting some of the deals, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Amazon Prime days, you're not the only one. There's enough out there that the market demand and desire for these cards will be met for decades. Decades. Because they print so much more than they did back in the day. You think Fallen Empires had a high print run? We don't even know the print runs of the boxes anymore. And I can only imagine how scary the number is when you see things on Amazon dumps. We see things in landfills. We hear all kinds of crazy stuff about the economic team determining the value of what gets reprinted and what they put into these things. This is something that I think really can't be ignored when you're looking at the potential to invest in Magic cards and try to draw out income. Now, when the question comes up, have I made money selling boxes? Yes. I've made a lot of money selling sealed boxes. Right before I started YouTube, I was still buying and trading and stuff off, not on screen, not talking to anybody, just doing it through eBay, locally with people. I did fine on things like Zendikar, Rise of the Eldrazi, World Wake. I made a lot of money on those things when they started hitting 1,000 plus because I was buying them for $100. And I was just getting back into Magic and I was buying a lot. I thought I got a good job now, I can buy lots. And yes, You can get lucky and make a lot of money that way. It looks amazing. Looks amazing. But then you go and you buy the same box. You say you spend $500 and you buy yourself a box of Avison Restored. There we go. Where Avison Restored. Are you going to be able to sell for $500 right now? Are you going to be able to sell these older boxes? They will slowly accumulate in value. You have inflation putting pressure on them, which means if they go too low and they're like $130 3-4 years from now, it's going to look too cheap. People are going to buy them up. Okay? It will rise with inflation. It will go up slowly over time. It'll be dragged up by the newer products that just cost so much money. They just look good in comparison. But if you didn't enjoy the set, if there's not cards of value, and we know Wizards reprints everything to oblivion, there's a lot of things holding back the potential rise of value in boxes, which used to like not happen. Reprints happen, sure, but they didn't happen as often as they do now. The remastered products didn't kill off these secondary markets for sealed boxes like they have now. 30th anniversary. All these things have caused burns and wounds that will take time. It'll take time for the market to reestablish itself and create things. Does that mean you shouldn't buy a single box? I didn't tell you guys that. You'll decide that for yourselves. If I see a good deal, would I buy boxes right now? No. I can honestly say I would not buy any boxes right now. It's not something I'm willing to dive into at this point. I still think singles are the way to go for the moment. And honestly, whoever's watching this video now, like 11, 12 minutes in, I'm buying reserveless cards. Because if things turn around, one of the first things you can be almost guaranteed is going to happen is certain reserveless cards will start spiking again. As speculators and people maybe start to reestablish little concentrated areas of the market. And there's still a lot of cards I want to get my hands on that aren't expensive right now. They're underpriced, underutilized. People don't even remember them for the most part. So those are cards I'm going to go after. Those are things I'm thinking about as opposed to buying a sealed box I know there's no market for it right now. So it doesn't matter what somebody tells you or somebody's trying to convince you or what your buddy's idea is. I am definitely recommending against it right now. It's going to be dead money for a decade plus. I just don't see it happening. Different than if you want to draft with some friends. Different if you just want to have a play fun. I'm talking about if you want to buy it, invest it, store it, seal it, have the carrying cost of having that money sitting there. That I would stay away from. Drafting, playing with friends, having a good time, saving some money, buying a cheap box, and sharing it around, totally cool. I'm on board with that, and that's something I would do with my friends for a draft night if I don't want to buy an overpriced product that costs a lot more when you look at a play booster. Those two side by side, I understand what people will choose. They'll choose the cheaper option because they want the fun of the experience. They don't always care about the cards inside. Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here today on the video. I hope you guys had a good time. Slam down some comments in the comments section. It is a privilege to be here every day with you guys. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Don't forget, bring a friend to Magic.